Hello, welcome to Old Nerd Reads Marvel Comics in Order. This is episode 86. This time I'm reading Marvel Team Up Annual number 1. I'm not exactly sure when this exactly came out. Um, the indicia says it's the 1976 issue. Kind of chronologically, it takes place between Marvel Team Up. Uh, uh, well, I can't remember the exact number now, but the last issue of Marvel Team Up that I read in this series was kind of a fill-in issue. And the next issue, I believe Chris Claremont takes over writing. And this is kind of this annual kind of bridges the gap between, I think, Bill Mantlo leaving the writing job on Marvel Team Up and Chris Claremont coming in for his stint. Maybe even John Byrne comes in the next issue. I'm not exactly sure. But this is the first meeting of Spidey and the new X-Men. But before we go, I gotta have a double shot of espresso in my Kalianka. That's Swedish for Donald Duck. Kalianka mug. Oh yeah, that'll get you juiced. Okay, this one, this copy, probably fine condition. Spine's a little rolled. It's got a lot of ticks down through here. Covers a little bumpy, a little rough. Got some bends, color breaks. See the back page? See, I got a little piece of paper sticking there. What is that, part of the cover? Yeah, it's part of the cover. It's coming off. Yeah, it's not in the greatest of shape, so probably fine minus, actually. Not great, but it's a solid copy. I'll keep my eye open for a nicer copy of this, because this is a cool issue. This issue was, so if you look up here, from a plot by Bill Mantlo, Chris Claremont, and Bonnie Wilford. I do not know who Bonnie Wilford is, but apparently she helped with this in some fashion. But even though Bill Mantlo is credited as the writer, I feel like he gets the X-Men pretty well. Their characterization in this issue is pretty good. So I'm wondering, like, how much Chris Claremont actually only plotted it, or maybe actually like told Bill Mantlo how to write the characters. But I'll point some of that out as we go through it. We got Sal Buscema and Mike Esposito doing the artwork again. Sal Buscema, he's everywhere, drawing everything at this time at Marvel. But this is a fun little issue. Well, little, it's an annual, so it's double size, but it starts off at this top secret military installation called the Nest out in the Nevada desert. And this government auditor is coming to check in on it, make sure the money that's being spent there is being spent correctly. And the first thing this agent comes across is this robot sentinel that's standing guard. And they're named Rax, these robots, and it's named after where does he say? I thought it said it right here what that name meant. Well, I guess I don't see it right here. But it's some kind of like guardian to the gates of hell in like a Hindu religion, maybe. But I thought that was a cool name for these robots. They kind of look like the Nimrod Sentinel type robot a little bit, but not quite. But down in this underground installation, there's this cast of scientists down there, and they're working on what are they working on? They're working on irradiating common minerals, and there's an accident, there's an explosion, and the whole place is leveled. So all this cast of characters that we just met, they're all dead. Cut to chapter 2. We're on a plane, and this plane is hosting some kind of like genetic mutation summit. So there's a whole bunch of scientists on here from around the country, and they're just flying around in this plane having a meeting. And Peter Parker, he's on board because of the press pass, and he's an auditor. So he's not only working for the Daily Bugle to get a story on what's going on this plane, he's also, because he's an ESU science student, he's there to audit this for his class. And you've got a cast of bigwigs, politicians and scientists arguing about gene mutation. And surprise, guess who else is on this plane? The X-Men, the new X-Men. So Peter Parker actually recognizes Scott Summers and Jean Grey and Professor X because he's met them before in an early issue of Marvel Team Up. But the new X-Men, Wolverine, Colossus, Storm, Nightcrawler, Banshee, he hasn't met them before. And this is cool. They get the characterization pretty well. Like Wolverine doesn't like this senator. He's gonna rough him up and has to be talked down. This is actually Nightcrawler back here in the back with his image inducer disguising him so he doesn't look like a blue demon. But of course, there's trouble while we're on the plane. The plane flies into a black cloud and it makes it crash. So I don't know. This is like the third, maybe fourth issue that I've read in this series so far of Marvel, reading my Marvel comics in order, where a plane is crashing. And this issue actually references one of those, and I'll point it out here in a second when we get to that spot. But it's all hands on deck. The X-Men all take action. Here it is, Rax. RAKKS. That's what these robots are called. And it's the same name as like a Hindu demon that guards hell, I think was what the explanation was in here. I've never heard of it before, but I think that's a pretty cool name for like a sentry robot. But they come up and they attack the plane. They start blowing it to bits. So Professor X puts the X-Men into play to defend the plane, but of course they're not going to be able to stop the destruction. Peter Parker changes to Spiderman, and Hole gets punched in the plane. Storm and Banshee fly out to fend off the attacking robots. Colossus and Cyclops are up in the cockpit trying to land the plane. Colossus fights one of the racks that breaks into the cockpit. And then the rest of the X-Men out here, right here is Nightcrawler. He teleports out of the way, which must turn off his image inducer. He becomes Nightcrawler, which leaves Marvel Girl and Wolverine to fight this robot, and with the help of Spider-Man. And we're trying to get the plane down, but they can't control it. Oh, wait, I skipped a page. This is where we reference a previous Marvel comic, a recent Marvel comic where there was a plane crash. And right here, Spider-Man is going to stop the plane by using a little trick he picked up from Reed Richards, which is referencing Fantastic Four 166. And that's several episodes ago in this Old Nerd Reads His Marvel Comics in Order series, an early episode. The Fantastic Four were in a plane and it was crashing, and Mr. Fantastic let himself outside of the plane and basically turned himself into a parachute. And that's what Spider-Man's doing here with his webbing. So, there was a plane crash in the pages of the X-Men recently. Fantastic Four, now Marvel Team Up, and I'm probably missing one as well. Was there one in Iron Fist? There may have even been a plane crash in Iron Fist as well. So planes crashing everywhere in 1976 and 1977's Marvel Comics. But they get to the ground, and Wolverine, being Wolverine, doesn't like this guy still. But there's radiation. One of the scientists on the plane has a radiation detector, and they figure out that it's coming from the blast site that we saw in the beginning of the issue that leveled the secret base, the secret military base, had the explosion. So that's where everybody's got to head. Luckily, this scientist also has this spray in a handy dandy. What do you call those? Fire extinguisher. Yeah, he's got this handy dandy fire extinguisher. Just happens to have this anti-radiation spray. So the X-Men and Spider-Man get themselves hosed down by this guy's anti-radiation spray, and then they head to the Hell Pit. That's a pretty great splash page. Sal Buscema not doing his finest work in this issue, but not doing bad either. He never does bad, but he can do a lot better. He draws so much. You can't really give him a hard time for simplifying some of his drawings. Wolverine gets a lot of just kind of like corny one-liners in this issue, which is kind of dumb, but I mean, at the same time, this was one of the very first appearances of the new X-Men, so we didn't really have the characters ironed out at this point. But he's basically being himself at this point in the Marvel timeline. Always causing trouble, rubbing everybody wrong, and everybody rubbing him wrong. But here the X-Men and Spider-Man get attacked by these two shadowy super people. And they are looking for one person on the plane. They caused the plane to crash, and they're looking for one person on the plane. We don't know who they're looking for just yet. But this guy, he's called Yamadharma. That's his name. But if we look real close at him, we can tell that he is one of the scientists that we saw in the very beginning of the issue. So I'm thinking that that cast of characters we were introduced to in the beginning must have survived somehow. And so they take on this guy, but ultimately another member of this mystery team shows up and knocks everyone out. And it looks like who we're after is Jean Grey. Now we get to chapter 4. Everybody's in stasis. Jean Grey has been put into her Phoenix costume while she's unconscious. And here we have our cast of villains. Jean Grey wakes up, and here they all are. Everybody's in a stasis field and can't get out. Jean Grey can't use her telekinetic powers to get them out. But here we get a quick recap of what happened to these people. They all died in the explosion. But since the one character who was closest to the heart of the explosion was Hindu, all of his memories of his religion got blasted out into the people closest to him, and now they're all members of the Hindu pantheon. So Brahma, Shiva, Mara, Yama, Kali, Agni, Vishnu, Ratri. That's the name of all these guys that were scientists at this top secret military installation, got blown up. But since the Hindu member of their team was closest to the heart of the explosion, his memories turned everyone into his religion, like figures from his religion. So they're basically, they call themselves gods, and they need to transcend the earth in this mortal plane, and they need a ninth. There's 8 of them, and they need a 9th person to hold all their energy. This gets really convoluted. They need a 9th person to hold all of their essences together as they transcend into a higher dimension or something. And Jean Grey, Phoenix, who they detected in the plane above when it flew over this area, and that they decided that she's the person that's going to help them transcend to a higher reality after they suck all of the energy out of Earth and leave it a burnt out, lifeless husk. Nice folks. So of course the X-Men break free. A fight ensues, of course, and then we find out that these guys just want to, they just want to live. And Scott Summers Cyclops comes up with this plan, and this plan is real strange. I don't even really understand it. All the bad guys have to stand in a circle. They're not really bad guys now, but they all have to stand in a circle, hold hands, concentrate, and then all these convoluted things have to happen. Jean Grey is going to channel their energy using her Phoenix powers. Then, then Nightcrawler has to teleport the energy into Cyclops' I-beams. Banshee has to hold it in the I-beam. Everybody has to hold hands to keep the circle together, and it's killing them all. Wolverine wants to help, but they can't break the circle. It's really bizarre. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's just kind of like, okay, we've got to wrap this issue up fast. Let's do it. And Cyclops blasts these guys' essences off into space, and they become a new star. And that's the end. But anyway, it just kind of ends up being kind of an advertisement. Follow the further adventures of the all-new X-Men in their own bi-monthly book. So that's Marvel Team Up Annual #1. Kind of an advertisement for the new X-Men. Kind of a jumping off point for the Marvel Team Up series. It's changing creative team. So Spider-Man's going to be out in the desert, I think, where this leaves off. The next issue of Marvel Team Up picks up. Spider-Man runs into the Incredible Hulk out in this desert. And yeah, I think that's the whole point of this annual. My double shot of espresso's gotten very cold since I started talking. I must have talked for a long time. Okay, I'll wrap it up now. I've talked for long enough. Pretty cool issue. Got an early appearance of the X-Men, not in their own book, in a different book, and with Spider-Man. Got the characterization down really, really well. Oh yeah, I was going to point out some spots where I thought it looked like actually Chris Claremont did some of the writing on this, even though Bill Mantlow's credited with being the writer. Chris Claremont was involved in the plot, coming up with the plot, but I suspect he did some of the writing or suggested some of the writing for Bill Mantlo. Anyway, just some descriptions, and the characterization was very close. And another cool thing is we've got a Dave Cockrum cover. Dave Cockrum, who's drawing the X-Men title right now. So really cool issue. Like I said, I'm gonna keep my eye open for a nicer copy than my copy. But anyway, if I missed anything while I was bumbling through this in my unprepared speech here, please comment down below with anything you thought was cool or anything I missed or anything you like about this issue. I'd like to hear some of the details and trivia about it if you've got any. And if you like this sort of thing, I'm going through my Marvel Comics collection. I'm reading it in publishing date order and doing a video for every issue that I do. So please subscribe if you like that. And if you would share the video, that would help me out a lot. That'd be really cool. And otherwise, I appreciate watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.